allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right. So, first order of business is to act on minutes from the March 19th. So everyone has probably gotten the minutes and taken a look at them, but there were a couple last-second modifications to the Board of Ed presentation. So minor things, but can you?
Sure. So there were 3 changes on the first line regarding the $3.9 million cut. That was not by the Board of Finance. That was a First Selectmen's cut. And then the Board of so the edits are Board of Finance should be First Selectmen.
First Selectmen or Board of Selectmen?
First Selectmen cut it, and then the Board of Selectmen restored $2 million. Okay, which then my update will change those numbers. The second edit was just the spelling of examine. And then the third edit at the end of it where it talks about the tech policy and community use of facilities, I suggested to Kelly to make that a third section because that's regarding policy and it has nothing to do with ward turf. Okay. So it's just an organizational.
Okay. Other than that, any questions, comments, corrections? The minutes are approved with those 3 modifications. Public input. Anthony, you want to talk about the resilient Fairfield in public input, or you want to save that for the end in the good review order?
We can talk about it now. I think I included everybody. I think everybody should have the notes, so you could read through them. Basically, Bill Hurley talked a little bit about this. It's got to be about a year and a half ago now, I think. But this is kind of the follow-up to some of that. I don't have the document in front of me, so I apologize. I can't speak any better to it. But all the notes that they wanted you guys to just be aware of were in that email from them. So,
and if everyone remembers, it's the flooding issue with the river, and we're looking at a variety of different locations to put pools, including Gould Manor and Fairchild Willows, a couple locations. They looked at a couple other places and deemed them not suitable. So I guess that's just...
Yeah, one of the ones they are going forward with is Tunx's Hill. It's changed slightly in scope. They're not taking over the whole baseball field like they wanted to. Originally, we fought against that, so right now they're still staying in the woods, on the edge of the woods down there. Owen Fish, I don't think they're doing anything with, but again, they are looking at some of these, that, like Brian just mentioned. So they just wanted us to be in the loop. And
for Tunx's Hill, how would that affect the fields?
Yeah, it shouldn't. It's in the woods, so it shouldn't.
And it's just going to be a retention pond in the woods?
Yep.
And even if it were near the fields, it's probably following a storm and it doesn't stay there. What's the expected?
Owen Fish is like maybe 2 days when we get some serious heavy rain. If anybody's familiar with Owen Fish, the left field has that dip past third base. That's actually there on purpose for this type of retention.
Right field also has a dip. I can test that one.
All right. I don't know if that was intentional. Yes.
And I'm sorry, one other question. Any idea of the timing on that?
No, Bill Hurley was here a year and a half ago, so this might be another year and a half to 10 years. So
they get full funding from wasn't FEMA, right? It was Army Corps.
I don't think they've gotten full funding. I do see that's part of the 10-year capital plan, but I'm not sure of which projects have been funded and which ones haven't been.
Okay. That's awesome. Thank you.
All right, so new business. First up, Michael Foley requests to hold the Friends of Fairfield Public Library Sunday, September 14th, 11 a.m., 6 p.m. And they typically have 15 food trucks and 2,000 people in attendance.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that.
All right, Michael, if you would, and anyone else who's presenting, who's on the phone, if you would just give your address for the record.
Sure. First name is Michael, last name is Foley, Foley. I live at 697 Hollydale Road. I'm here on behalf of the Friends of Fairfield Public Library. I'm the president of the Friends Board of Directors. We are a nonprofit 501c3. We raise money exclusively for the Fairfield Public Library. We're different than the Board of Trustees. The Board of Trustees runs the library, essentially. The Friends Board raises money for the library. You may have seen some of our events. We do the One Book, One Town event. We do our annual literary luncheon. And then we recently have started some new fundraising opportunities. We did our first comedy night at the library back in February. We just did mini golf after dark at the library itself. So we have some exciting new ways of changing people's perceptions of what can happen at the library and how it can result in some good fundraising efforts. We've had really good support from the community on some of these new events. One of our older events is the Food Truck Festival, going since 2017. We've settled in nicely with the support of Parks and Rec Commission, the support of Anthony and Kelly and everyone else involved with this. It's developed into a nice family event. As Brian mentioned, we do about 15 to 20 trucks. 15 is kind of our sweet spot. Food trucks are kind of sensitive to having too many or too few. So over the years, we've developed a good relationship with a lot of different trucks. And 15 sort of fits pretty well with the amount of people that come down to the beach. As always, if we have a nice day and it's sunny and the wind isn't up, we do really well. 2,000 is a pretty good figure. Some years have done more, some years have done less. The donation to enter the festival, so to speak, is $5. And we've never moved off that dollar figure. We're pretty comfortable with that. And it's always worked out very well. Any questions or concerns about the festival itself?
A couple questions.
Yes.
And Chris, you can go next. Is there a rain date that you're
We've
requesting?
always toyed with rain dates. It never quite works out, mostly because of the trucks themselves. The trucks keep themselves booked at all times. In other words, I'm going to put out, if successful tonight, I will put out this date to a variety of different trucks, and they will generally accept. If I ask them to book the following week, they'll be like, more than likely they'll tell me one of two things. I've already booked, or I can't commit to that weekend. So we generally avoid the rain date idea and keep our fingers crossed that the weather cooperates.
Okay, so you anticipate 15 food trucks. How many food trucks do you go out to invite?
Over the years we've developed a pretty good stable of trucks. The food truck business is hard. These guys work so hard. And it's a tough business with slim margins. So food trucks come in and out of business, essentially. Some of the more established ones we have pretty good relations with, and if they don't have some big event, they generally will commit to us. We are always on the lookout for new trucks. As old trucks exit the business, new trucks come in, and those new trucks generally try to bring something unique to the food truck world. So they're trying new menus, new approaches, and whatnot. So between now and about August, we'll be reaching out to both new folks and some of our old regular attendees.
Anthony, Mr. Foley mentioned 2019. Did I hear that correctly?
2017.
2017, we started up.
So, isn't this at the...
This gets thousands of people, so this will always have to come.
Why? Because okay, all right.
And this is why we're going to, in the subcommittee, really establish rules.
Okay.
This is,
When you said 2,000, that wasn't $2,000, that was 2,000
2,000
people.
People. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's hard to, I mean...
What is the demarcation line on that?
that's, we need to
Okay.
determine that. But 2,000 is one of the larger events, so that,
Got it. Thank you.
we have
There's something going on I'm not aware of.
No, there's certain rules. If you're having an event at the beach with 50 people,
Yep.
and you have it every year,
Yep.
same time after 3 years, you don't. If it's there's basically no changes,
Yeah.
you don't have to come before the commission. The director can approve that.
I like coming before the commission.
we love you coming. But things, large things like carnivals,
Sure.
things of this size, we always say we want you to come in case, because commissioners, there's new commissioners, and give them opportunity to ask the bigger events.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Do you charge the food trucks to come in, or?
We do. The food trucks, we usually want about $150 per truck from them, which is we could charge more, but it's a sensitive relationship. We want loyalty, so we try and not gouge them a little bit. And we've since developed a good relationship with so many different trucks that they're always happy to get that invite. And there's been times where when it's been cold or just for one reason or the other, it's been rough. We sometimes even waive that. So
Please mention slim margin, so it makes sense.
yeah.
And the food trucks keep 100% of their
Yes.
sales proceeds.
They do. Yep.
Any other questions? Someone like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Chris?
Oh, and the 14th is one day after the town's Oktoberfest.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah.
All right, so,
And that was the same as last year, so that worked out pretty well. I was able to promote at the Oktoberfest. So.
great. Okay. So we have a motion. We're going to, it's not approved yet, so,
I'm not going anywhere.
Any further questions, comments? Is there anyone on the line? Okay.
No, Bill said he was calling in, but he's not on.
All right, back to the commission. All in favor? Now you're off that.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate the support every year. It's been a pleasure. Anthony is so great to work with and whatnot. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, have a great day. Okay. Next up, Aaron Zapsik requests to have Mind Travel back at Jennings Beach this summer. The request is for Thursday, June 5th, Sunday, July 6th, and Saturday, August 2nd, and Friday, September 5th. Is Aaron on the phone?
Hi, I'm here.
All right, Aaron, tell us a little bit about the upcoming events and give us a little bit of a story of how the events were last year at Jennings.
Certainly. So for the record, my name is Erin Zapsik, 6309 and 3/4 Cahuenga Boulevard, North Hollywood, California, 91606. And I actually have Murray Hittery here, the performing artist and the creator of Mind Travel, and I'm going to hand it over to him since he'll be able to speak to the experience itself and how everything went off last year, since I handle everything remotely from here in California. So I will let Murray take it away.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Erin. Great to be with everyone again. My name is Murray Hittery, 4475 Nautilus Drive, Miami Beach, Florida. And we had a wonderful inaugural events last year at Jennings Beach in Fairfield. It was very well received. We had the audience we anticipated. People loved it, went off without a hitch, no incident. We had the officers there with us, and it was all very smooth and without any incident. And I hope you've heard the same. So we very much are excited, as is the community, to bring it back to Jennings Beach this summer. And we have those proposed dates, and there's no change to the format of the event or the sizes of the event. It's just really just replicating what we did last year.
Okay. So last year, the first one we approved was before the season, and then the second one was in August.
During the week, I believe.
Yeah, during the week, which was a concern that I spent a lot of time talking about. Weekend, during the week, and I think we all supported during the week. And now you're back for 4 different days, including a Sunday and a Saturday during the beach season. When's Labor Day this year?
September 1st.
September 1st, all right, so that September 5th is after. Commission, what do we think about that?
What time, Murray, what time are you proposing these events go off?
Right, and yeah, great question, and I should have addressed that preemptively. We bring this to dozens and dozens of beaches around the country throughout the year, throughout the summer months, on weekends, and we in no way would ever want to, even for our own sake, let alone for the public, to have any interference or any inconvenience. And so first of all, it's important to note that we do it at the end of the day. It's actually in the evening. They're usually at sunset, so it's after the beach-going day. And that also helps with parking and just real estate at the beach. So we're coming in, the audience that we have is coming in when other folks have already left or are leaving. And that's the first thing. The second thing is as you know, there's no impact to this event, meaning there's no sound, there's no amplification. It's all a silent event. So even if there's folks who want to remain on other parts of the beach, we in no way are intruding in any way on their experience. They are welcome to stay there. It's totally fine. We're totally happy to share the beach with anyone there. And
how many people did you have last year show
up? We had about 300 people each time.
All right. I remember it being very successful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What was the parking impact in the previous events? Do we have an understanding of that? Do we have any parking issues as a result of it?
We didn't. The only thing that came up as a concern here was that when people were purchasing their tickets for the event, that they needed to know that parking wasn't included. So if they were a non-resident, they were also going to get hit with the non-resident daily rate.
Correct. Right. Yeah, and we did notify them of that. And I recall, because I was there, of course, personally, I recall there was just tons of parking. Obviously it would be different if it was on a weekend, I'm sure, but there was tons of parking available at our events.
The only date that I have a concern with is the July 6th date. That's our rain date for the fireworks. So if the fireworks get rained out on Saturday, there's not a chance this event can happen on Sunday.
Okay, so as we had last year in August, we had Thursday, and that went off without a problem. And I'm not dictating anything here, but just kind of stating my opinion. So I would have no issue with the Thursday in June. That seems to be a reasonable request. The Sunday, July 6th, we're not going to consider that. And what do we think about Saturday, August 2nd? Because, the beachgoers are going to be there on a Saturday. They're late. Anyone have an opinion on that?
It seems to me like the capacity of the lot is large enough to accommodate this crowd, and it doesn't seem like there were any issues previously.
But that was the Thursday in August. Yeah, different animal.
Yeah. But we're also talking sunset, after 8 p.m. on a Saturday, August 2nd.
This says 6 o'clock.
No, there's no way sunset's at 6 o'clock, August 2nd.
That's what their paperwork says.
Yeah,
it says 6 o'clock.
Oh,
start
they
time.
started.
And today.
Right.
If we could push.
We could also play with the start time. We just kind of put that there to have a placeholder, but we can. We have some flexibility on the start time. We just like to start it when it's light out and then end in the dark.
I agree with July.
I am a little worried about the Saturdays. I've been there on Saturdays in August, and there's still a lot of people and a lot of kids running around. It's more the kid traffic. Do we have to keep them off of a certain part of the beach when they're setting up?
Not really. No, we're happy to. But we have such a small footprint.
Yeah.
It's like 10 by 10 is the footprint. It's tiny. So people are doing their thing, playing frisbee, whatever they're doing, and of course by the time we start, they generally leave.
Sure.
And the 10 by 10 is the check-in?
The check-in 10 by 10, and then the piano is 5 by 8, something like small. It's just a the prop piano that we place there, and people love it. It's just a great. It's a lot of fun for people to see it. On there, a piano on the beach, and they get excited, and it's a really nice element to the experience there.
So when you're setting up, you cordon it off and then do your stuff?
No, we'll look for some empty space in the general. We typically set up on the beach, kind of in front of the structure there where the bathrooms are, and we shift to the right or the left depending on the space that's available. But we don't put any blockades or cordon anything off.
Anthony, last year the event in particularly the one during the season in August.
We didn't have any issues, yeah.
Did you get any feedback from participants?
No, we didn't have any feedback one way or the other.
Okay, well, that's good. You tend to get more feedback on a negative side.
Yeah, we didn't get any of that.
Where are the bonfires located?
Down, way off.
Right.
Yeah, not near here.
Obviously, I've never been to one.
They would be done. I think they'd be done by the time the bonfire was started.
And and again, we wouldn't request to come back with some more frequency if the feedback to us wasn't so wonderful from the community, and we're just responding to the community asking us to come back.
Murray, how long is the experience? Is it
about 2 hours.
2 hours?
2 hours start to finish. Yeah, people come, they check in, they bring their blanket beach chair, set up their spot on the sand. There's no stage. There's just sand and then the piano and the check-in tent. Then we open check-in. They'll get their headphones, and then I do an introduction for 10 minutes, and then off I play. And then they get to have their meditative piano experience, and then at the end we do a little Q&A. People can come up to the mic and share their experience, and then they go home.
So if we are going to consider the August, your 19 points, it does say 6 p.m. start time, August/September, with an 8 p.m. end time in August. So you're okay modifying the August to start
Yes.
at 7 p.m.?
Yes.
All right, guys. Any questions? Any thoughts?
I've been down there at that time of night, and I think it's there's plenty of room down there. I can accommodate it.
Any concerns about precedent of being during the season on a weekend?
Well, that's different. I can say, well, we've already accepted it.
Thanks, Jen.
During I think this is different enough.
Yeah.
Because it's so stationary?
It's stationary, it's minimal impact, it's
And
contained,
the actual
and it's quiet.
location, the spot that they take up is, it sounds like 15 by 10 or something like that. If it's 10 by 10 plus 5 by 8 for it's minimal. So, if we're setting up a precedent that, people want to come and say, well, you approved that, I said, fine, we'll rent you, we'll let you take 150 square feet on the beach. And, and the people attending have their headphones, and they're not.
That's true.
We're not setting up a series of chairs for them to, to take up another block. They're kind of all about. So I'm, I worry about precedent. I'm not really worried about precedent here.
You'd have to be very similar, I think, in terms of precedent to come back. It's not like...
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
So
it's not like
about a day of the week.
It's not an
thing.
outside concert.
Gotcha.
Where would you say this is, this thing doesn't equate to that thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so if the local symphony wanted to, set up and, and put up, 200 chairs on the beach, I don't think they could lay claim to the fact that we've approved something similar.
Okay.
Good question.
Good catch, and on the time, and good question. So, all right. And if there's no other questions, does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the proposal except for July 6th, so cut out July 6th.
With the modification
Right.
of the time in August.
And the modification of the time in August from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock for a start.
Okay, Charlie, can you just read that back?
Jamie made an motion to accept the proposal except for the July 6th date and with the modification of the time for the August one from 6 to 7.
Start time.
Start time.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Can I ask a question, please?
Certainly.
If the issue with the July date I heard earlier was the fireworks rain date, since you're voting on it now, would it be okay if we change the July 6th to the Wednesday before, and then you're on a weekday out of the line of fire, the fireworks, and so this way we could just do it all together now? Would that be acceptable?
To check the date.
I'm pretty comfortable with the approval of 3 at this point, but again, that's just my opinion.
It's challenging for us to, with our own schedule to, we do each block of summer as a month, so it's, again, nothing to do with you. It's not your concern, but just it would help our logistics because we do New York, New Jersey, Connecticut as one trip. But if that way, you can approve it pending the availability if you like, if you need to check it.
Thank you. Well, we have a motion and we have a second. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving as presented? Okay. Murray, you are all set with an approval for June 5th, August 2nd with the modified start date, and Friday, September 5th. At this point, that's the only thing that is has been approved.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Next up, our very own Dylan O'Connor on behalf of Stratfield Village Association for the use of Lincoln Park to hold their annual Lincoln Parkapalooza, September 6th with a rain date September 7th, noon to 10 p.m., same format as the past years.
Dylan O'Connor on behalf of the Stratfield Village Association, 31 Lower Street in Fairfield. I am requesting the use of Lincoln Park, like Brian said, for a community event called Lincoln Parkapalooza. It's a fundraiser for the SBA, which is a 501c3. Funds from the event generally go back into the neighborhood for beautification and safety measures, things like that. We have food trucks. It's confined to the park. It's BYOB. We have hired professional security. Fairfield Police is there. We have about 5 to 6 food trucks, and then we have 3 acts on the main stage. It'll start at 4, but we generally like to set up about noon on the day of, and it'll go until 10 p.m. The rain date for this event is going to be the following day, September 7th.
And if it's raining the whole weekend, it just doesn't take place that year. What do you do in the rain?
We'll probably, if it came down to it, if we had to make a decision and move to the rain date on Sunday and it was still raining, we would probably just hold it.
Probably asked, I'm sorry, are you done?
Yeah.
Probably asked this last year, and thank you. You mentioned that there's security there. Do you give bands?
Yeah, we wristband everybody that's over 21.
Okay, perfect. Any questions?
How many people are doing? We get about 1,500 people. Yeah, it's a nice community turnout. Yeah.
How's the Four Corners project going?
It's good. It's pretty much done at this point. Banners are up, lampposts are up, beautiful hanging baskets in the warmer months. So a lot of the look that you see downtown in the city over there too. Right.
Okay. Any other questions? Someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Chris?
I'll second.
All right. Jamie? Any other questions, comments? All those in favor? All those abstaining?
Recusing myself, yeah.
Okay.
Are we invited?
Of course. Please come. I would love to see you guys
Your
there.
free wristbands?
Of course.
Am I going to check our license for wristband?
I'm not going to check your license. I'm going to get your wristband.
So,
You might want to check your license.
Exactly.
to tell you got that approval for everyone, but
I do.
abstain. Okay, perfect. All set. Okay.
So we need a motion to go into executive session for the next item.
Okay, so the next item is to hear and act upon revisions to the town's rules and regulations, which probably makes sense to go into executive session. If someone would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, Brian.
Okay. Second? Okay.
All right, we're moving to executive session, so we are ending the call. Yes, please.
Okay, next up, we have the reports, Board of Education report.
Yeah, the only thing I thought would be of interest to the commission was simply our budget news that there is an update. The Board of Finance did vote to restore $1 million to our budget, so that means we're now about ballpark number 950,000 or so short of the budget that the Board of Ed approved in January.
There was 3.9.
So went from
and then
3.9 to
2 back
1.9.
and 1 more.
That's right. So we're now just under $1 million. It is still before the RTM. And we can't say for sure what they will do with it, but they vote the first Monday in May, and we meet the following Tuesday, the 13th, and both in a previous subcommittee on, excuse me, I think it's May 6th, they'll start working on where we're going to be finding that money, and then May 13th will be a very robust discussion on how we're doing it with a planned vote at the end of the month. So that's a big. I have no idea right now what the possibilities are, so I can't even float anything past the commission. But that's really the big item there. So I can't speak at all because there's been no board discussion, so I have no sense of where this is going to go. Happy to take any questions, though.
Questions? Thank you. And now the Director of Program reports and approval.
Yep. First thing on the agenda for me was budget. As Jen just mentioned, RTM's voting Monday, May 5th. Board of Finance will set the mill rate on Thursday, May 8th. Was a pretty easy session for us with the RTM. They didn't really ask too many questions. I think I was only up there for, 40 minutes or so, which was surprising. Ludlow Turf Field, if anybody's driven by, you're seeing lots of progress. The light poles were installed today, so lights are up, which is great. The turf should be being installed in the next week or so, and we are still on track for probably the first or second week of May to have that field completed. So making really good progress there. Some of our
warranties on those light poles.
Yeah.
What are you going to host there? I'm sorry to interrupt you. What is going to be hosted there first?
Great question. I'm not 100% sure. It'll likely be some summer camp stuff that happens there in the summer, just because most of the spring stuff has already been allocated for other places, not being 100% sure when that was going to open up. So I'd have to talk to my staff to see if they were going to try to slide things over there. But it's a multi-purpose field, so there's a full football field, field hockey, lacrosse, boys and girls. There'll be a softball, girls softball, like high school softball size field or a little league field. There's also going to be a full baseball field that overlays on it, and then multiple multi-purpose fields that run perpendicular to the main field. So we're excited. It's going to be a great asset for the town. Some other projects that are taking...
Before you get into the next project, it's a quick question. So if there's a baseball game now...
Nothing else is happening.
Nothing else is happening. If there's a softball game, is there room for something else?
You could still have another group, whether it's soccer or lacrosse, field hockey or whatever, use one of the far fields, because the dimensions on the softball field are about 150 feet shorter than the baseball field. So using baseball there, it really limits it to one sport, and that's it. That would be the only use. You could play a baseball game there, and that's it. So the intent when we built this was not to move Ludlow High School's varsity baseball team to this spot. If they are, for whatever reason, they decide they're going to schedule a game at this field and not play at Kiwanis, they displace everything that was at that field, and I can't take the soccer team, the field hockey team, and whatever, and move them over to Kiwanis because Kiwanis is a baseball field. So we don't have that type of flexibility. However, they will be able to host their evaluations. I don't know if they do tryouts anymore. Whatever they call them. In March when the fields aren't even open yet, that turf field is a spot they'd be able to use them. In New England, here in the Northeast, they've got to have their high school seasons done by a certain point in order to start the FCIAC playoffs and then the state playoffs. And there's sometimes where they're really cramming games in. So if they were in a situation where it was a rainy day and the field was closed, they could slide, the varsity softball game over to that field just to get it in if they were in a real pickle.
The other field, if it's 150 feet left
roughly
than baseball, so 150 feet, 50 yards, the width of a football.
53 and a half.
Yeah. Is right there. So is that enough room for, or are we not talking about like a regulation game?
It's probably not a regulation game. The high school requested that we put primarily